Just wait just a little bit and see if anybody shows up. So it doesn't look like there's going to be anybody show up for a little while. A lot of broadcasts on tonight. There, that's better. So tonight I'm going to be reading from a book called Spurgeon's Gems. And it's excerpts from sermons done by Charles Spurgeon, who was really a gifted preacher. And tonight I'm going to be reading from chapter 8, Evangelize the Lost. The Spirit of God does not work by sleepy men. He loves to have us alive, ourselves, and then he will make others alive by us. See this, dear brothers. There are some things we must always pray for with submission as to whether it is the will of God to bestow them upon us. But for the salvation of men and women we may ask without fear. God delights to save and to bless, and when the faith is given to us, accept an immediate answer to such a prayer. Thrice happy we are. Seek such faith even now, I beseech you, even now. It is well to preach as I do with my lips, but you can all preach with your feet and by your lives, and that is the most effective preaching. The preaching of holy lives is living preaching. The most effective ministry from the pulpit is that which is supported by godliness from the pew. God help you to do this. Men are going to heaven or to hell, and it is time that we came to close grips with them about this all-important matter. God help us to do so. But the Lord's Supper is as much needed for the sake of others. We are to show Christ's death that others may know about it, that others may be impressed by it, that others may be saved by it. Let the purpose of God, for which you ought to adore him every day, be plenteously filled in you, and let it be seen that he has chosen you to know Christ, that you may make him known to others. You all remember, therefore I need not tell you again, the story that we had about the doctor at one of our hospitals a year or two ago. He healed a dog's broken leg, and the grateful animal brought other dogs to have their broken legs healed. That was a good dog. Some of you are not half as good as that dog. You believe that Christ is blessing you, yet you never try to bring others to him to be saved. That must not be the case any longer. We must excel that dog in our love for our species, and it must be our intense desire that if Christ has healed us, he should heal our wife, our children, our friends, our neighbors, and we should never rest until others are brought to him. Some of you who love the Lord have never yet told anybody. You are secret Christians. You hide away behind pillar and post. Oh, but God's word is very sweet to you, you say, as you eat your morsel of bread in the corner. So it is, but you would have another and a greater sweetness if you would come out and avow that you love the Lord. I am sure you would. In fact, there is many a child of God who never enjoys the full sweetness of religion because he has not had the courage to confess Christ before men. I wish that some of you halting ones, you who are much afraid and fearing, would obey the whole of the gospel. You know the gospel, he that believeth and is baptized shall be saved. Mark 16:16. For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Romans 10:10. There are many more flies caught with honey than with vinegar, and there are many more sinners brought to Christ by happy Christians than by doleful Christians. You pray, dear friend, do you? But you never speak to the individual for whom you pray. Is your prayer sincere? I will not question it, but your prayer has hardly reached that pitch of passionate earnestness which will secure an answer, for if you were in downright earnest, you would go to the person for whom you pray and explain the way of salvation. My brother in the gospel, what if you and I should keep back some painful part of God's message, and God should do so to us and more also? I cannot bear to be lost, and yet I shall be lost if I decline to warn others of their danger and of their doom of unbelief. I cannot bear to be cast away forever from the presence of God, yet this woe will be unto me if I preach not the gospel and do not declare the whole counsel of God. The result of unbelief and sin in others will fall on us if we do not warn them. O sirs, if we are unfaithful, God will deal with us at the day of judgment as he will deal with the wicked. This is an awful outlook for us. May we never dare to tone down the more severe parts of the gospel and flatter men in their sins. For if we do this, God will mete out to us a portion with the condemned. How shall we bear it when God shall do to us, and more also, because we kept back his message from the sons of men who so much needed it? Let us resolve that come what will, we will keep back nothing of the truth of God which the Lord has entrusted to us. Those are the saints who help to spread the gospel of Christ. A holy life is a missionary enterprise. An unstumbling life is an incentive to others to run along the heavenly road, trusting in the divine power to guard them also from stumbling. I would sooner be a toad under a rock than be a Christian who tries to conceal his Christianity. It is not life to have to ask another man's permission to think. If there is any misrepresentation, if there is any scorn, if there is any contempt for being a Christian, let me have my share of it. For a Christian I am, and I wish to be treated like the rest. But, says one, if I know I were to try to speak to any of my neighbors about Christ, I should break down. Friend, I am not careful in that matter, nor need you be. If you are in real earnest, you might possibly do more by a breakdown than by anything else. Only break the ice and begin, and you shall find my text to be true in your case also. And out of weakness you too shall be made strong. God does not need your strength. He has more than enough power of his own. He asks for your weakness. Sometimes God's work goes on so well that we have much cause for gratitude, and yet we feel that the peace might be greatly quickened. A sermon that could save 100 could as readily save 1,000 if God blessed it to that extent. The same truth of God that sways one mind could sway 1,000,000 minds if applied by the Great Spirit. There is no reason why the sowing of the Lord's word should not bring forth 100-fold instead of 20-fold. We may not dream that the Spirit of the Lord is straitened. When God is with us, all things are possible. When the Lord fires his saints with zeal, his own work never lags behind. God is never behind the desires of his people. In fact, their longings are prophecies of his giving. When we cry day and night, God will work day and night. When saints groan and sigh for revival, it is because the revival has already come and has begun within their souls. When the whole company of the faithful shall glow together with passionate desire and importunate prayer, we may know that our redemption draws near. And that was chapter 8. So then, So I read chapter 8 of the book Spurgeon's Gems, and I say God bless everybody, and I hope to see you on the next broadcast.